It's the winter solstice, a sliver of a day wedged in between two long nights. This calls on a new season associated with the north, with the element earth. I always thought it odd that our calendar years begin in the winter. To me, the winter is not the beginning of the year. The solstice is the archway that leads to the final season, the time when we fold ourselves up. Trees shed leaves, birds gather and fly away. Winter is cold, hard-edged, elemental, essential. It's a time to pare down, do without, to practice patience and learn wisdom. This is the time of year when I connect to the crone, the inner wise woman. You may know her as Father Time or Old Man Winter or the sage within. Or perhaps this being is not human at all, but takes the shape of a very old tree for you. For me, the crone is an irascible, knobby-kneed old woman who offers pithy advice about surviving adversity and identifying what's important. She never lies to me. All I need is silence to hear her, and the winter gives me plenty of that. I've been an astrologer studying the cycles of time for more than 40 years, and a witch celebrating the seasons for almost as long. But I don't have to tell you that there's a change coming because you've noticed it. Just last week, there was a solar eclipse. And on that day, December 14th, the Electoral College voted and the first vaccines were given out. This was just the beginning. Some of you have seen the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in the sky. It's a conjunction that comes around every 20 years. And for ancient astrologers, it was associated with the toppling of regimes. Some think this was the star that the three wise men followed. And here it is on the same day as the winter solstice. My list of Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions goes back only 1,000 years, but this is the only time in that 1,000 years that it's been exact on the winter solstice. The Jupiter-Saturn conjunction appears in the first degree of Aquarius, a sign associated with truth, knowledge, learning, technology, and new social patterns. This promises a new engagement with science, a willingness to try different ways of relating to our planet and each other. I know that this new cycle doesn't promise world peace, or as the song says, mystic crystal revelations. There will be turbulence. What we astrologers are seeing now is movement after a long period of stagnation. And that's good enough for me. All of 2020 has felt like a long winter. And so as I head under this arch that is the winter solstice, I'm ready to see a new landscape ahead.
Hi, I'm Lisa Reed. Yule in a time of pandemic. As the earth turns toward the winter solstice, the days are shorter, the nights are longer. Winter is here. It is a time of rest, a time to lie fallow. This is a time to recharge our energy, restore our emotional resilience, renew our hope and vision of the future. Breathe and welcome this time of darkness. Though these long nights surround us in darkness, it is not a darkness of fear or despair. Soon the sun will begin its long arc toward the summer solstice, waxing in strength little by little each day. Soon we will notice the returning light and warmth. Soon, but not yet. Now is a time of stillness. As Jenny mentioned in her reflection about the celestial sky, we are walking through a new door to a new time. It is an auspicious time. As the vaccines become available with the hope of lifting the restrictions that have saved lives, we move forward into a world transformed by the events of the passing year. This has been a hard year, full of unwelcome change, great loss, seemingly endless stress and loneliness. Breathe, rest, grieve, regroup, renew. It is time to winter. This year has made us adjust our lives to unfamiliar and strange rhythms of social distancing and isolation. Death and illness have come in unprecedented numbers to communities and families. Breathe and remember the lives lost and the lives forever changed by this disease. I have been blessed to be safe, but I'm shaken by the failure of our nation and leaders to act with love and compassion toward all. I offer a prayer for relief promised by the vaccines and for new compassion in public policy. I need strength to continue to try to bring this change. We have lived through a presidency and an election unlike anything this nation has witnessed in modern times. The behavior and choices of the elected officials has been disheartening. Biden's election brings relief, but no panacea. At least we are headed back toward bending the long arc of the moral universe toward justice. I need energy for the renewed effort. We witnessed the murder of too many Black, Brown, and Indigenous people of color, arising from the pervasive racism that permeates the very foundations of our society. I find hope in the vast diversity of people siding with our brethren of color, demanding systemic foundational change to eradicate the racism. I need hope that the change will come. We witness the catastrophic effects of climate change. A bright spot from the lockdowns of the pandemic was the dramatic changes in air and water quality that came when humans stopped doing. We can effect great changes, much greater than we have prior to the pandemic. I don't want to go back to normal. I need commitment to continue to make the real changes to save our planet. We have much to do. I need to be rested, focused, and renewed to make my contributions to this new effort. Welcome, Yule. May you find peace in the promise of the solstice night, that each day forward is blessed with more light, that the cycle of nature, unbroken and true, brings faith to your soul and well-being to you. Rejoice in the darkness, in the silence find rest, and may the days that follow be abundantly blessed. A poem by Stephanie Laird.
So friends, before we end this video, please remain on mute, but join us in reciting our mitten tree dedication. On this longest night, may the fire of our commitment as embodied by these offerings of hats, mittens, and scarves send love, warmth, and good hopes from our congregation out into the world to help keep the recipients safe and warm. Amen, and may it be so. Can y'all breathe with me for a minute? What a beautiful and joyous community we share. So Yule, like most other holidays, looks different this year. The usual hustle and bustle of finding last-minute presents for loved ones is gone, or at least it has transformed. The huge family gatherings of the past are all now pared down to the folks who you let in your pandemic pods. Gone are the smells of cinnamon and pine cones, and gone are the sounds of the fire trucks that used to carry Santa through our cities. Yet, Yule has always meant something different for me. Yule, as I learned it, was the return of the light, the return of the sun. For pagans of antiquity and some of our ancestors, the wintertime was the harshest time of the year, when the land would be barren and covered with snow. All crops had been purged from the land through the summer and fall harvest, and all they were left with was darkness and stillness. I see 2020 in that way. 2020 has been a year of stillness and imagination with moments of light and a looming dark. Calling this time of year dark can be complicated, with folks assuming this dark time is negative, that darkness is that of death, that being in this place unable to move is a sign of weakness and disaster. But what if that was not the case? What if the darkness is symbolic of the womb? I'm going to repeat that a little bit. What if the darkness is symbolic of the womb? What if it is symbolic of that place we are in just before birth, just before becoming? As Valerie Kaur, filmmaker, activist, and public speaker says, what if this is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? And I wonder,